Hello and welcome. Today we've got the round 19 predictions. First game is Richmond taking on Fremantle on Friday night. Richmond lost in a horrifying fashion against North Melbourne. I thought surely not, Richmond of all teams to fall victim to the new manager bounce. Well, it came to fruition. Fremantle looked in control against Sydney on home turf and you would have backed them in at the half. However, the Swans took over and Fremantle couldn't handle it. Both teams will be hungry to return to winning ways. This one's at Marvel and Richmond have really struggled there this year. Sure, they've got some returning, but does this offset the ongoing absence of Tom Lynch? Fremantle should get Alex Pearce as well, so that'll make it more difficult for a Tigers team who cannot kick straight for their life at the moment to kick a winning score. Thus, I'll back Fremantle for the win. Next is Sydney taking on the Crows. Chad Warner is an absolute gun. Sure, he's prone to some quiet games and stretches, but when he hits his ceiling, he's unstoppable and keeps your eyes glued to the screen to watch him. I didn't think the Swans had it in them away from home, but why are we surprised? They've done this before against Melbourne on hostile ground. Look, the Crows should have locked up the game. In wet conditions, you would have backed them to protect numerous 3-goal leads. But they are 16th for a reason. For a team that aren't renowned for owning a midfield with players that have incredible ball use, you would have thought scrappy conditions favoured Adelaide. Sure, the tackle count was nuts, but they still couldn't win a game that benefited their style. Sydney are looking threatening down the stretch towards finals, they'll win this. Next up is North Melbourne playing Hawthorn. North Melbourne, I'm incredibly surprised. I didn't think it was possible. North and winning don't go together, but they defied the odds. Zuha was unbelievable, only fitting he kicked the winner. Paul Curtis has been one of the rookies to watch in a dire year for North and he was instrumental on the scoresheet too. Sure, you could argue that Richmond threw it away, but you have to kick a winning score to win a game, and North did that, so credit where credit's due. On the end of a 6-goal bag for the opposition was Luke Broyst. Man's been round for ages and is quietly delivering this season in a role he plays so well. Hawthorn started slowly but asserted their dominance as the game wore on and held off an improved West Coast team that would have possessed confidence that the game could have been theirs. I'll back Hawthorn, who have put together a couple of good weeks against teams they on paper are favourites against, and they'll make it 3 in a row. Next is Port Adelaide Geelong. Port Adelaide felt a setback last week against the D's with regards to their finals aspirations. They didn't go down without a fight, but obviously disappointing to not string 4 quarters together for a game that was up for grabs. The Cats were up for a challenge against Carlton. Their team is playing a confident brand, every player is delivering in their role and they are really coming into their element as the finals race heats up. Obviously Geelong was labelled as a retirement home at the beginning of the season, but the pressure they brought last week was reminiscent of a youthful side and this will pose as a threat for other premiership contenders. Geelong will win, Port obviously with home advantage, but Geelong don't look like they can miss a trick at the moment. Next up is Brisbane Gold Coast. Man, I've been rooting for the Suns all year, but even with this favourable run home, they've managed to well and truly stuff it all up. What a poor performance. They had to have been expecting a Bombers side that was flying high. Where was the drive? Where was the willingness to win? Perhaps a team that isn't used to this position. Brisbane, on the other hand, did what they had to do against the Giants. McCluggage is really thriving at the moment. Who would have thought that you become a premier mid of the comp when you can start kicking straight in front of goal? There's plenty of Lion reinforcements on the way as well, so good luck Gold Coast, your work is cut out for you. Brisbane will win the Q Clash, very surprising if the Suns steal the 4 points. Next game is the match between the Dogs and the Demons. The Dogs were fast starters against St Kilda, didn't play a full match, but gave themselves enough of a cushion to shield the Saints' fight back. Melbourne were pretty good, obviously they haven't been their best in the last I'd say, month and a half, but they keep the wins ticking over. Kozza Piquet kicked 6 and given the Demons at times have struggled with scoring output, they'll need a couple bags like that to help. Oliver will return in this game, which will set up some entertaining midfield matchups. I'm going to back Melbourne, but given the Dogs have seen some large inclusions over the last couple weeks and will see more this week, I think this could be a very tight game. Don't be surprised if the Bulldogs push the 8 this week with a win. Sunday matches commence with Carlton GWS. Carlton were given a bit of a reality check as to what it'll take to beat the top sides last week, losers by 30. The Giants, well, they've just become a bit boring to follow at this point. They are not playing for anything, they are basically holding out for next season. I'd back the Blues to bounce back here, some more players will be back this week, and I feel Voss and the players sense urgency. They need to win this game given their tough run home in the final month, and I fully expect them to do that at home. Next game is, I feel, one of the most intriguing and exciting. Both sides have won at least 4 of their last 5. Collingwood haven't lost for 2 months. The Bombers are playing an exciting brand of football, finally. Things I never thought I'd say a few weeks back. Nick Dykos is unbelievable, 40 and 3 goals as a rookie. Come on now, he's toying with the competition at this point. It may very much be factual that Dykos is the reason the Pies have ascended up the ladder. His playstyle aligns with the daring game style Collingwood plays, and it makes sense that his potential is being realised as is used correctly. This and the combination with the oldies, who continue to hold up their end of the bargain, makes for a great dynamic and a cohesive team. The Bombers are really enjoying themselves. Shield looks great, Draper had an absolute blinder, and basically bulldozed every player involved to score a banana straight out the ruck, receiving hand passes and looking like a midfielder in the process with his free range of movement. Even the backline, Zerk, Thatcher, Redman, Ridley were excellent last week. Call me crazy, but I sense the Bombers spoiling the party again. I just can't see Collingwood continuing this cycle. How many times are they going to get away with being on the right side of close games? I think it works out, an overall combined winning margin in the 8-game win streak of under 100 points. The Bombers have nothing to play for, and have a bit of fire in the belly. This'll be a cracker. Don't be surprised if Collingwood shithouse another single-digit win. Final game, St Kilda playing the Eagles. The Saints are just about the worst form side in the comp at the moment. Their second-half fightback was merely consolation, and to make matters worse, the dependency of the ruck tandem will be tested with Ryder going down for most likely the year and his career. The Eagles lost last week. They'll get Naidanu back for this one, which will make that matchup with Marshall interesting. This honestly could be anyone's game. St Kilda need to win, and win big, as their percentage is not favourable, but in Perth, it's always by default an uphill climb. With this in mind, call me crazy for the second time in a row, but West Coast are going to win this game. St Kilda will get pieces back, but whilst Wilkie is excellent, will they have anyone in reserve to stop Kennedy and Darling? And will King take advantage of an informed Barras? Who knows, but my gut feeling here's the Saints season will be over by Sunday evening. Anyway, that's all for this week's predictions. Share yours in the comments, show your support on the video, and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.